Hey everybody, my name is Robert Krasny, and I'm gonna just talk about my presentation for advertising in society. So I picked the brand name of Nike because Nike is a very strong brand, and Nike and Reebok are two huge companies that sell and promote their sporting gear and pretty much everything: running, hockey, football, everything, any sport, any physical activity. They have some kind of running shoe or some kind of product in that line. So I'd like to start off with Nike, just examining how it began and then what it has become now and the different tactics that it's used in their ad campaigns and how they've become successful. So Nike at the start, it was just a shoe company basically promoting their shoes to runners, track and field runners, just because they had good shoes and they said they had a good product that would improve performance out of runners. That's how it started. What it is now is a huge corporation. They specialize in everything from hockey equipment, from basketball equipment to shoes, apparel. They even have their own lines. The big thing about Nike that's quite interesting and how their marketing scheme has worked in their campaigns is that at the beginning of every company you want to know what's called, right? Nike, Reebok, whatever else, Coca-Cola, they all have brand names. Nike now, it still has its brand name obviously of Nike, but when people think of Nike, you think of the little swoosh. The little Nike swoosh, it's on everything. Everyone owns it. Everyone thinks about it. It's the one thing that has branded them, and that's why they're so successful. In direct correlation with that, Reebok came out with their symbol, their little block symbol that people will realize that that's what Reebok is. That when you think about Reebok, that's what you think of. You don't think of the word Reebok anymore. It's successful, but not as successful as Nike. Everyone knows what the swoosh is. The first advertisement I'd like to talk about is just with Nike. One that's really provocative is they know how to sell their products. For number one, they use sexual innuendos to sell their equipment. Number one, there's a Nike ad that I came across. It's basically just a girl. She's not wearing many clothes. Like she's just wearing pretty much the bare minimum, just a pair of Nike shorts, a Nike sports bra, and she's got a bigger butt. And in the ad, it just talks about how I have firmer butt. The ad itself says, "My butt is big and around like the letter C, and 10,000 lunges has made it rounder, but not smaller, and that's just fine. It's a space heater for my side of the bed. It's my ambassador to those who walk behind me. It's a border collie that herds skinny women away from the best deals at clothing sales. My butt is big, and that's just fine. And those who might scorn it are invited to kiss it. Just do it." That's an example, and there's just a picture of the woman in the Nike sports bra and Nike shoes and Nike shorts, I guess. Basically, the campaign, it just shows how sex sells, even for women and men. Women that see this, a lot of them, as much as they say they hate campaigns like this, they hate the fact that every girl they see in an advertisement is skinny and pretty and whatever. But at the end of the day, when you ask women what they really want, they want to get thinner. They want to be like these women. This Nike ad shows, it even sells for, this Nike ad shows that sex does sell. The girl is wearing pretty much nothing. She's got a nice physique, pretty face, and all it has just a little description about her butt and what she did to do it and how she loves it. And then at the very bottom, it just says Nike women with the swoosh. This ad even helps men just because they see a girl like this and they want to buy their product. They want to buy Nike so they can attract this Nike woman, this Nike physique that they want. That's one example of how Nike uses like women and unrealistic body types to attract their consumers. Another ad with Nike, a different form of campaign that they had, was one pretty much of a thank you. They had back in the day, they had an ad about Jackie Robinson. It was a big thank you ad for Jackie Robinson. If you do not know, Jackie Robinson, influential black baseball player who, throughout the days of his career, really jump-started the game of baseball for the black race, but even as a sport itself. So there's a little minute commercial, and pretty much it just has current players, legends, and other people that are around baseball that have shout-outs to him. They say thank you. They say thank you for what you've did with baseball. Thank you for giving me this. Thank you for all your accomplishments, and pretty much just letting him know how much he's had an impact in their lives and with baseball itself, but more importantly for the black race. So that's an example of how Nike, it uses emotions of people. It shows how they're not even advertising anything in this ad. It's just a big thank you to him for what he's done in baseball. Jackie Robinson never used Nike equipment playing baseball. It was not even around at that time. But just the fact that what Nike has done with this ad is that even though they had nothing to do with the accomplishments or any of the actual ideals associated with Jackie Robinson and what he's done for the black race and for baseball itself, at the end of the commercial they just have a Nike symbol at the end, the swoosh, and then just do it. Why? Nike's using this power of other people, like the emotion that people feel with baseball, and when they think of Jackie Robinson, when they think of black people in the world, especially in the United States growing up, and how they were treated and how they weren't allowed to do such things, and having a player such as Jackie Robinson come into the game of baseball, change the game of baseball, and set such high standards of play, shows how much of like an impact he is on the world. And for Nike not even having anything to do with that, having their stamp on it, just is pretty much Nike with this commercial is they're trying to elicit an emotional response to the consumer, to someone that, especially people that are fans of baseball, they see this commercial, they see what it means, what it's about, and their heart hurts. They think it, they realize it, they understand what's happened with it, and they can realize they understand the relevance of Jackie Robinson in the game of baseball. And then with the end of just having a Nike swoosh, that just gives the people like a little plea, like a little, wow, Nike did this. That's amazing. I'm going to get Nike products because of how they support people. They, like, with that emotional control, like the emotional control that Nike has with this ad specifically, gives people the notion that Nike is the best. Nike supports everybody, especially the black community, especially people like that. And with this ad, it's all black and white. It just has the players doing that. It's a great ad to begin with, and having Nike at the end, it just empowers the people to buy Nike stuff. Another ad that's really like another way that Nike uses their advertising campaigns and their methods of selling their shoes is, and one of the advertisements are back to school shoes. So they have huge bright colors. They have like just flowers in the picture. They have a little spray paint in the background. It's all on a brick wall. Many schools are made of bricks. Like it's a very traditional kind of picture where they just have a shoe. It's brightly colored. It's got blue. It's got turquoise. It's got bright yellow. There's pink in the picture. There's flowers, and it just shows how Nike even use colors in their photos, just so they'll stand out. People will look at them. Kids will look at them. That's who it's targeted towards. It's targeted towards kids going to school. They need shoes. What kind of shoes are they going to get? Oh, they're going to get Nike shoes. Why? Because Nike shoes are something that goes back to school. They're colorful. They're what people want. And parents will see this and they'll like it. Kids will whine about it. So this shows how even Nike uses such subtle aspects such as color. And with this, they're attracting so many children, especially with their back to school campaign, by attracting kids with color. With Reebok is a direct competitor with Nike. And Reebok uses a lot of the same tactics, and you can also almost say that they've copied Nike with their ad campaigns just because Nike's always come out with something first. Nike came out with their swoosh, obviously, first. They're the people that are known for their swoosh, and then years later, Reebok comes out with their symbol, their little vector logo that just has the little X in the middle of a square. Like, people now realize when they think of Reebok, they think of that logo. The same as how people think of the swoosh and with Nike. The only thing is the Nike swoosh came out first. So that's just one example of how Reebok has pretty much copied Nike and still have been yet unsuccessful, you could say. The fact of the matter is that Reebok and Nike are direct competitors, and Reebok uses many of the same ideas that Nike uses. With Nike's commercials, like the one with Jackie Robinson, like it provokes emotion. It helps people realize what people have done, what other famous legends and ball players and whatever you want else have done for their communities, for the world, for sports. And then they add their symbol at the end. They add their name to the end, and people will emotionally attach themselves to this, and they want to buy their products. And then you get Reebok, where they have their huge campaign, probably their biggest campaign yet, is the I Am What I Am campaign. So they have commercials with various artists, like they have Jay-Z, 50 Cent, they have actual basketball players, they have Allen Iverson, they have sports athletes that it's pretty much letting them know that whoever you are, you can do it. You can do whatever you want. It says in the campaign, I am what I am. The campaign came out in 2010, and it's pretty much, its target market is the demographic of 15 to 20-year-olds, and pretty much what it is, it's just letting kids know, it's letting everyone know that whoever you are, whatever race, whatever sexuality, whatever it is you like to do, you can do it. It's your choice, and you pretty much can do what you want. And they're saying this by getting Reebok equipment, by getting Reebok products, you can do what you want when, like, whatever level you want as well. Reebok is showing that they're using the emotion too. They're using that emotional aspect that they don't care who you are. They don't care if you're a homosexual. They don't care if you're black, Asian, white, or anything. That whoever you are, what kind of person you are, what kind of sports you like, if you just like to go running or walking, that whatever it is, you can do it, and you should be proud of it. And being proud of what you are is like they're saying being proud of what you own. So with the Reebok shoes, with Reebok apparel, with Reebok everything, you're being proud of that. So when you're using Reebok and you see somebody with Nikes and maybe they're saying, why don't you have Nikes on? You're going to be proud and say you have Reeboks on because you're proud of it, because you are what you are. So that's kind of like how the I am what I am really inflicts the emotional aspect on Reebok consumers and shows how much the emotion of people knowing who they are will attach itself with like a Reebok product. The same as how Nike attached themselves with Jackie Robinson and their products, even though that neither of the products really have any correlation with what the campaigns are about. Nike didn't have anything to do with Jackie Robinson, and Reebok really has nothing to do with what people are and who they are. So with Nike, if you don't have Nike, then you can't strive for first. One other Nike ad that's pretty, like the message is clear, is just it has a BMW car and there's a giant soccer ball that just squished it. So that's just like a metaphor for Nike being able to overpower its competition, crushing its competition, literally, that it's at the top and no one else can even come close to it. This ad just shows how it's not attacking any particular brand, but it's attacking every other brand that's not Nike, because Nike literally crushes its competition. That's pretty much that's my presentation. I just explained how Nike uses its different forms of advertising in its campaigns. I showed you the certain examples of the campaigns it uses and what it needs, and then I showed a little bit of the Reebok side and how its commercials, its campaigns has kind of competed with Nike. Nike always coming out on top, just because, in my opinion, it's a more distinguished product. People know the swoosh, people know the Nike more so than the Reebok. It's been around for longer, and it's got, I'd say, it comes up with its advertisement methods, its ad campaigns first, and a lot of other companies, especially Reebok, follows it and almost copies it.